what you're gonna. They say just tell us, give us 3 panel minutes. Tell us pretty much what you're gonna do. So they have to put it through their censors, and give us the out cue, the out word, and then Jay will ask the next question. So you kind of have an idea of where it's gonna go. Leno's pretty much boom, boom, boom. But I like doing the show. I prefer that because he doesn't step on you. I love doing Leno, man. I love that show.
Well, it's kind of interesting to me that you talk about the sexual addiction and you know that that's somewhat screwed up for you. But at the same time, it doesn't seem unlike the same thing that you have with comedy, where I want something that I almost can't get to. You know, it seems like you're still grinding it back in a different direction.
Yeah, the unattainable. It's like when you do coke, you know, it's like a lot of times you spend 20 years looking for that first or second high. And with comedy, it just keeps refueling itself. I mean, because, like, you know, I killed last night, so I want it again, or I bombed last night, so I have to kill. You know what I mean? There's always something to push you forward. The sexual addiction, it's got to fucking stop. Because even when it's not acting out, I got a girlfriend now, you know, and I'm good. You know, but it's still mental, and it's still a mental obsession. It's fucking awful.
Has she read the book, your girlfriend?
Yeah, we went to San Francisco recently, and her grandmother was fucking her grandmother's 85, and she's perusing it. And I'm like, why did you fucking bring this to your family's house, you dope? And she said her grandmother read it in one night, which kind of creeped me out. She liked it, and my girlfriend is reading it now, but she's very slowly reading it. It's hard to read that shit about your boyfriend, that he's picked up all these prostitutes, because my girlfriend's smart, man. She's not a dummy. She knows. Like, a lot of it is the truth, all of it, you know.
Well, I guess it's the same for your family, too. I mean, you're right in there, you know, a great family, normal middle-class kid. They did everything right. But they sit back and read this book and go, geez, we thought he was out, you know, at a seesaw. And he's getting the neighborhood kids to blow him.
And he reciprocated. So at least he's not selfish.
I mean, at one point, have they ever said to you, why didn't you come to me?
No, because, well, I tell you why, because I think that the fact that I had such problems young with drinking and drugs, you know, and the fucking suicide attempts and all that nonsense, however disingenuous some of them were, a lot of times it was about attention. But I think after that, and then I got sober when I was 18, so it's like, it's all gravy. Like, you know, your parents are just happy to see you not doing that. So they've always been very loving. I'm very lucky, man. I have a great family. My mother, my father, my sister. They've always been extremely supportive. But I made them wait 7 years before they came to see me live. You know what I mean? I didn't want family there. I didn't want an unnatural reaction from an audience. I didn't want love from people who already loved me. That was cheating, you know. But my family's been fucking great. But they saw the worst, you know. So it's like, this is all like, so what, you get hoarse? Well, you're not cutting your veins anymore. So
right,
nice.
And I guess. It was a real rough time there in the teenage years before you did this stuff. I mean,
I don't know what it is though. It's like it's self-induced. You know, to my knowledge, something happened. I don't really know what it is. I find myself riding back to my old neighborhood, and there's something awful there. I just don't know what. But it was nobody else was doing. I don't think. You know what I mean? I don't have this traumatic experience that I can remember. I've always had this fucking awful self-worth. And to me, that's always been like, well, at least that's there. Like, even from a young age, like, you know, you can go through the process of trying to fix this, but you can always blow your brains out. Like, that's always the option. It was almost comforting to know that it was there. I always wanted to do comedy since I was like 12, but I kind of believed it was a dream that would never happen. But when I started, I left myself no safety net. I kind of made a decision that this was it. I was going to do comedy. And, you know, I see a lot of guys that are like, you know, yeah, I'm doing comedy and I'm going back to school. I'm like, well, good luck. Good luck, man. You got a safety net. You're not going to become obsessed. To me, to be really a great comic, you have to somehow be obsessed with it, because what else is going to motivate you? It's like, fuck your social life. I can't tell you how many relationships I've blown because New Year's Eve I work, birthdays I work, anniversaries I work. To me, that's more important. You know, and women understandably don't want that. They want a guy that spends time with them. But again, you can't tell a girlfriend, but I love you, but you don't compare to this. You never will. You know, nothing you do for me will ever be that fucking high. You know, you can't compete with that.
Everything is going to be secondary to what happens on that stage, and that's just night by night.
Yeah, man, it really is. I mean, in the overall picture, I mean, there's things that I'll prioritize, like in a moment or in a night, of course. But overall, I've always seen myself, like, the only quality I've ever really seen myself having is being funny. And to me, it's the only quality of myself that I really care about, either way. I think I'm a nice guy off stage. I'm a caring person, whatever. But I mean, the thing I associate myself with is that. So that's all I'm really focused on. Is
you are
gigs.
a comic. I mean, it's not something you do. It's something you are.
I mean, what else am I going to do? I mean, it's like I've always loved doing it. I've always loved making people laugh. So it's kind of like the natural thing. A lot of guys are writers, and sometimes they write brilliant material, but off stage they're pieces of wood. There's nothing worse than an unfunny comic. Nothing. Like at a table with a bunch of comics and we're smashing each other, and the one guy that can't take it, and he makes some snarky cunt remark. Oh, fuck yourself. Fucking submit jokes to Conan, douchebag. Right. Fucking sit here and hang out and try to be fun. It's the fucking worst. And I love seeing those guys come and be uncomfortable.
And when you're sitting there with your buddies after the show and you're talking about the show, that's just as important as being on stage. You're also performing there. You're competing there.
Yeah, but you're being natural there. Like you're competing in a way, but you're also loving them beating you. I can't tell you the beatings I've taken, and I mean from Patrice and Colin and Keith Robinson. When you have those guys destroying you, all you can do, and Voss, who is miraculously as dumb as he is he can be so quick and so funny. And when those guys are pounding you, Bobby Kelly's a great one too, at fucking Crucifixions. All you can do is just cover up and take the savaging. And I love it. I'm being beaten by some of the funniest people in the country. These guys are great. It's like you're relishing in how funny other people are. So that to me is something I love very much. I love getting my teeth kicked in by people who I admire too.
And it seems to be very tribal, the way you talk about it. I mean, these are the in people. It's almost like nobody could understand a test pilot but other test pilots. I mean, these are the people that you understand most in the world and the people that understand you most, right?
Yeah, comedians. I have a real soft spot for comedians.
The interesting thing, too, is that when I go back over the book, something about your work I've always thought of as fearless. And yet, I read that you were pretty fearful early on, that you were saying, you were talking about something that you love, but you were hoping that gigs would be canceled because you were afraid to be on stage.
I remember when I was working with Vinnie Brand, who now owns the Stress Factory in New Jersey, and Voss. And I loved gigs getting canceled because I was scared of bombing. But the fear is not bombing. The fear is that there's going to come a day where it's exposed that I'm not funny, that the gift is not there. Like that's like not I'm going to bomb or certain people hate my guts. That's irrelevant. It's all of a sudden I'm going to realize you're not funny. This whole thing has been a mistake. Like you're not in that group. That's the fear. That's always been the fear. So rather than risk that on a nightly basis, I want a gig to get canceled. I remember when he got canceled, I was working with Voss and Vinny, and we all got our $50. And Voss was one of the first times I ever met him, and he had his ponytail and his shitty teeth. He's like, "You're lucky we're giving you any money, pal." It's just such a... Voss is an abrasive prick of a person, but behind your back, he's a nice guy. Voss is weird. He's really sweet behind your back, but to you, he's awful. He's just the opposite of the way most people are.
So for you, you're saying it's a gift, and it could disappear. There's some part of you, even now, that you're like, what if this thing is gone? Right?
I think so. I mean, I've always looked at being funny as that. I mean, maybe it's an ability, or maybe it's a defense. I mean, I don't know what it is. I've noticed that most comics I know, there's something gravely wrong with them.
Right.
There really is. Because I think in a way being funny is an overcompensation. It's a defense way. It's a way not to get beat up. It's a way to get girls. It's a way to do something, to achieve something. So every comic I know is addicted to drugs, to sex, to get to something. I mean, Seinfeld, I don't know well. I know him very casually. I don't see any real flaws with him. So there's something there. I don't know what it is, but there's got to be something that motivated him to be funny.
It could be his wife, but that's just me. I don't know. It might be mean to say. Tell me what the gift is, though. You said this gift.
The way I look at it is to be able to make other people laugh.
Right.
Because it's like even people who I don't think are funny, like I think that guy sucks. I still know when somebody's funny, even though he doesn't make me laugh at all. I still understand that he's a funny guy, or that was fucking funny. And to me, the high of making people laugh, I love doing it, and I feel gifted to be able to do it. Not like gifted like I have something over people, but to be able to fucking do that, it feels amazing. And I watch people who want that so badly and don't have it, and that makes me sad. Like my friend tried stand-up, and no matter what he did, he couldn't be very funny. He could say the word, but it just wasn't in him to be that guy. And I would always hurt for him when I saw him. Like, God, that must fucking be painful. I know comics that have committed suicide, and all of them have been bad. I mean, Richard Jennings is a really weird anomaly because he was a brilliant comic. He was a great writer and a prolific comedian. But the other guys I know that, and one woman who I know who hung herself, I think three of them that I knew, and none of them were very good on stage. And it's like they weren't getting the relief they needed from comedy. They weren't getting that.
All right, we're here with Jimmy Norton from the O&A show. Also, of course, the New York Times bestseller book, Happy Endings. Now, how much stuff have you had on TV, the book, you're doing 5 hours a day on the radio with O&A? This is just a ridiculous amount of writing that's going on over, let's say, the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Are you able to keep up this pace?